Hey, welcome back everyone, or should I just say hello and welcome in. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. So nice to have the blue skies. Temperature is pretty seasonal for January, but I'm sure what you have felt if you have been in and around downtown Denver up to the foothills, the winds. You can kind of see our flags fluttering out there right outside the 9 News studios. Certainly the trees rustling out there, but views looking pretty good. I wanted to show you this camera. This is atop the Four Seasons Hotel downtown Denver. You can kind of see it's a little jittery out there as we're looking at incredibly strong winds passing through. Winds out of the west, quickly tracking off to the east right now. Fort Collins, kind of that bullseye. 45-mile-per-hour wind speeds, just ramping up quite a bit out there. 20 to 30-mile-per-hour gusts from DIA south toward Aurora and Centennial. And then as we kind of zoom off to the eastern side of the state, you can see some stronger winds going out there. Look at that, 45 in Sterling, 59 in Wright, and 61 miles per hour in Burlington. Wouldn't be surprised. Some of these areas that don't have the snowfall on the ground from our storm system last Friday certainly could be dealing with some blowing dust. So the heads up for folks that are going to be traveling along I-70 into Kansas. Up into the mountains too, you can kind of see that coloring contour, 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind speeds easily possible. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see a few top off around 80 miles per hour. That's really going to be along the higher terrain up there, but the high wind warning will go into effect. It is in effect and will continue at least through about 5 o'clock or so. 65 mile per hour speed certainly possible around Fort Collins, and then this stretches across the eastern plains as I just kind of showed you. Right now we're at 47 out at the airport. Again, temperatures on the seasonal side, the winds kicking up quite a bit out of the west northwest, and then you can see that wind chill value more like 39. So certainly it does feel a little cooler out there. We're watching these daytime highs in the 40s and 50s across the eastern plains. Statewide right now, tracking the clouds starting to push in up in the mountains. A little bit of light snowfall across the Front Range Mountains as we zoom out. Still the center of low pressure anchored off to the northwest. So the storm system still getting its act together as it rolls in overnight tonight into tomorrow. Really, the Denver area is going to have to wait till about 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon to see some of that snow. Tonight here in the city will go partly cloudy. Going to be a mild evening. Temperatures only falling into the teens for us. Teens and 20s up in the mountains, but wait until you see Wednesday night into Thursday. That's when it gets cold. That's when we drop off to 0, possibly sub-zero in some areas. We have, of course, the high wind warning going, but up into the mountains, winter storm warnings in and around Rabbit Ears Pass, the Front Range Mountains, in and around the Flat Tops, Park, Elkhead Mountains, 1 to 2 feet. Additional snowfall coming through, and then of course the advisory is in place around Steamboat Springs, about 5 to 10 there, and then along I-70, the Vail Valley, Aspen, Crested Butte for another 6 to 12 inches coming through. The northern and central mountains have been doing quite well with these storms that have been pushing in, and this one no exception. As it rolls in, it brings us, yes, here in Denver, a little snow and then some cold temperatures on the backside. Let's time it all out for you. Here we go. By about 2, 3 o'clock, still pretty quiet. The sunshine remains in and around the I-25 corridor. Late tonight, it's still quiet, it's still dry while that snowfall is increasing up in the mountains. And then by early tomorrow morning, we kick off the day with some clouds, and that pretty much is going to be the name of the game for us here in Denver. Snowfall shifting across the Aspen area through Crested Butte by about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we have to wait for it. Like I said, about 4 or 5 o'clock, you're picking up the kids, you're trying to get out of work, and here we go. The evening commute could be a little dicey just because that's pretty much when we're watching these snowflakes beginning to fall. By about 11 o'clock, wouldn't be surprised if we do see some heavier bands of snow that set up closer into the foothills and then further to the south toward the Palmer Divide. This snowfall late tomorrow night stretching all the way off to the eastern plains, and it will be with us for early Thursday too. Right now, I just upped our forecast amounts. It looks like about 2 to 5 here in the immediate Denver metro area. Those higher amounts, the further to the west you go. 4 to 8 around Boulder up toward Fort Collins. Lesser amounts the further east you travel. Snowfall, it develops tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at that timeline again, 4 or 5 o'clock. It's going to be a cool day too as we're watching that cold front push through. 30s primarily up into the mountains and here in the metro, and then ouch, early on Wednesday morning, overnight, or I should say early on Thursday morning, that's when we'll find some of the coldest temperatures out there. 0 to sub-zero readings across the metro, 29 for a high. We'll still be tracking plenty of cloud cover out there, and then the heat arrives on Friday. We bounce back quite nicely. Looking ahead toward the weekend, still dry, and then into next week, the sunshine is back for us. So kind of a lot going on. I'm going to hop over to Facebook and see if you guys have any questions for me, of course, about the winds, of course, about the snowfall, and what's heading our direction. Chris, hello, how's it going? I am having a wonderful day. I know, Virginia's saying we don't need any more wind. I completely agree with you. It's good there's at least, Jason writing in, it's good that there's at least some snow on the ground during the wind. We definitely don't want a repeat of what happened in Boulder County, 100%. And that's kind of the good news about this scenario, at least, that is playing out for us today, is the fact that we have so much snowfall on the ground because of our storm last week, that actually is lessening fire danger considerably. So we do not have any red flag warnings in place. The high wind warning is going to continue until 5 o'clock. Boulder proper is not included, but certainly the west side of Boulder County up into the foothills included in that. Wind gusts upwards of about 65 miles per hour. It's going to be the higher terrain that we find those 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, primarily above tree line. Jeremy wondering what the wind is doing in the fire area. Let's take a look right here. You can see right now around the Broomfield area, they're looking at wind gusts upwards of like 39 miles per hour. So still pretty strong. Right now, I have been monitoring that hole, so to speak, around Boulder through Superior and Louisville. I bet it's still pretty breezy, but right now we're not getting any sensors, weather sensors that are picking up exact wind gusts out there, but you can certainly see across the entire urban corridor, it's pretty blustery out there. Joe, just excited to finally see some snow on the ground. Yes, and more on the way. I am kind of liking this forecast and the fact that while we are dealing with the winds, at least we are getting snowfall on the backside. It obviously has been such an incredibly dry summer, fall, and early winter, and now just to finally see these storms impacting not just the mountains, but also the metro area, it's amazing. Patty wondering how the winds are doing on Berthoud Pass. Oh, it looks like my map is just cutting it off there, but I would say they're probably in that 60 to 70 mile per hour range at this hour, just judging by the coloring contour out there. It looks pretty nasty. Jeff saying, should I go ahead and call into work tomorrow? I mean, if you can work remotely, I would say maybe more so on Thursday morning, just because the snow really isn't expected to start until 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then really the heaviest is going to be late Wednesday night. So yeah, maybe if you work Wednesday night. All right, guys, I'll just give you another quick glimpse at my snowfall forecast. What we have right now will be fine-tuning these numbers as the storm system gets a little closer. But right now it looks like 2 to 5 inches here for the metro area. Higher amounts if you live in the western suburbs around Boulder. I'm anticipating us getting some pretty strong banding, and so that means we could easily get 1 to 2 inches an hour. That's why I kind of bumped up their totals just a bit around Golden up to Boulder, Highway 36, in and around Estes Park. Fort Collins, the west side might even do well. So kind of keep that in mind. And then certainly up in the mountains, easily 1 to 2 feet of snowfall coming through as the Front Range Mountains are under that winter storm warning. Lisa saying, yes, you do work Wednesday night. Yes, Wednesday evening is when we will have the heaviest snowfall, and then it should be a little lighter coming our way Thursday morning, pretty much winding down, I would say, by the Thursday morning commute. So anyways, we will be back here tomorrow giving you another update. And as always, this afternoon on the networks of 9 News, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. Keep you updated on the winds, updated on the snow, and of course, the bitter cold that sets in Wednesday night into Thursday. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.